So before we get into the new stuff, Deadpool 2 is a sequel that makes a whole lot of callbacks to the first film, so let's get caught up. In the opening voiceover, Deadpool called his first movie a love story. And because he apparently loves symmetry, this time he lets us know right off that we're watching a family film. What genre will Deadpool 3 be? Maybe he has to take over and turn around a troubled daycare center or Pee-wee hockey team. Perhaps he and Cable will set off on a hilarious road trip to Vegas where literally everything that can go wrong does go wrong. We'll just have to wait and see. Early on, we see a knife sticking out of Wade's wall. Could this be the same one that got lodged in his head during the first movie's climax? Probably, yeah. He's a sentimental guy. Of course, the skee-ball token that Wade gives Vanessa harkens back to their first date, which we saw depicted in the original movie. Deadpool mourns at one point for George Michael's passing, picking up on his love of Wham from the first film. But most brilliantly clever of all, in Deadpool 1, our Merc sarcastically tells Blind Al before venturing off, possibly to his death, that he's buried 116 kilos of cocaine and the cure for blindness in his apartment somewhere. In Deadpool 2, we see him unearth the stash, and sure enough, there's a package down there reading Cure for Blindness. Way to make us wait for it, guys. My goodness, there's a lot of comic book references in this movie. I mean, it's Deadpool, and he's known for being meta, and this is the sequel where things get even more meta, but still, wow, this is meta. We open on a music box inspired by the grisly finale of 2017's Logan. Throughout the movie, Deadpool likes to take credit for kicking off the R-rated comic book craze because Blade and Kick-Ass and Wanted and Dredd and The Crow and Sin City and Kingsman and Constantine and Punisher Warzone and Watchmen, they don't count. That last one has wall-to-wall visible dong, too. They should get bonus points. Did anyone else think that when Mr. Poole takes out his toaster pastry, he seems to fling it a bit like the famed X-Man Gambit? No? No one else? Okay, fine. Just me. Speaking of the X-Men, a whole bunch of them actually show up this time. When Wade's walking around the mansion, wondering why it's always so abandoned, save for Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, we see a small room just out of his view containing a number of Fox's favorite mutants, including James McAvoy as Professor X and Nicholas Hoult as Beast. But not Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, though. Let him rest. Oh, also Deadpool at one point asks after the mutant he calls the putz with penguin wings. He probably means Warren Worthington III, who was originally known as Angel but then later became Archangel when he switched over to smooth penguin-like metallic wings. Deadpool and his ex-friends go to save young Russell Collins, who likes to call himself Fire Fist. This is actually a character from Marvel Comics who appeared frequently in the X-Factor, X-Force, and New Mutants series. His origin story was pretty similar. Not knowing how to control his mutant powers, he accidentally burned a woman to death and was arrested, only to be saved by X-Factor. It wouldn't be a Deadpool movie without at least one knock on co-creator Rob Liefeld. In this case, Deadpool wonders aloud who would possibly think of making luck a superpower, and muses that it's probably a guy who can't draw feet. This is a constant criticism made of Liefeld's drawing online, and has been the subject of numerous blog posts and jokes. Russell's been held at a brutal home for mutants called Essex House. Now, this isn't from the comics, but the iconic X-Men villain Mr. Sinister's real name is Nathaniel Essex. So perhaps it's a shout out? Speaking of characters who aren't from the comics, Yukio. Now, there is a character named Yukio, but she's a ninja and doesn't have any electricity-related mutant powers. In fact, a character from the 2013 Fox Marvel movie, The Wolverine, was based on her. Of course, all those dear departed X-Force characters riff on real Marvel properties, and so does the inmate Black Tom Cassidy. In the comics, his mutant powers let him bond with and control plant life, basically making him Marvel's version of Poison Ivy. Only, sexier. Also in the comics, he frequently works alongside Juggernaut. They don't quite get along as well here. Speaking of Juggernaut, did you catch Deadpool's attempted use of "sun's getting real low, big guy" to calm him down? This of course references Black Widow's technique for managing the Hulk's rages in Avengers Age of Ultron. Plus, that wild chase scene finally brings Deadpool's beloved scooter to the big screen. It happens on a road called Jerry Duggan Parkway, a nod to comic book writer Jerry Duggan, who relaunched Deadpool's comic book title in 2000 2013, along with Brian Posehn. During that same chase, we also pass a mural with Stan Lee's image on it, this film's version of his cameo, and an ice cream truck called Pryor's Treats. This probably riffs on the name Madeline Pryor, who is a clone of Jean Grey and Cable's mother from Marvel Comics. Deadpool's failed attempt to block a hail of gunfire coming his way is a direct nod to his early appearance in X-Men Origins Wolverine, when Ryan Reynolds more successfully pulled off the same maneuver. And it's not just Marvel getting the meta treatment. The film features not one, but two shoutouts to Tim Burton's 1989 Batman movie. Deadpool uses Michael Keaton's "I'm Batman" catchphrase, and the Joker's bang gun can be seen behind Weasel's head during the X-Force auditions. Early on, Deadpool tells Vanessa that he got tied up in a fight with another superhero whose mom's name is Martha. Take that, Batman v Superman. Hard to believe no one has made a joke about that movie until right now. Huh. Enough references, you say? Can't take any more? Well, toughen up, Buttercup, because those were just the riffs on comic books. Deadpool can't get enough pop culture jokes either. First off, Vanisher is Brad Pitt, you guys. Brad Pitt in a Deadpool movie. What a time to be alive. To back up a bit, the opening credits riff, of course, on James Bond films. And did you catch that the director is listed as one of the guys who killed John Wick's dog? This is true. Director David Leitch previously helmed the first John Wick movie alongside Chad Stahelski. That bastard. The movie features not one, but two Tom Cruise movie references. Deadpool tells Dopinder, "Talk to me, Goose," which Maverick says to his partner in Top Gun. And later, Dopinder becomes fixated on Kirsten Dunst from Interview with the Vampire. Yes, it's pronounced Kirsten. You know who else was in Interview with the Vampire? Brad Pitt. So, wait, hang on. That means that the actor Brad Pitt exists in the Fox Marvel fictional universe because he's in Interview with the Vampire? So is Brad Pitt the actor also the Vanisher? And is he dead now in Marvel continuity? Well, that's very upsetting. Blind Al encourages Wade to just keep living, and he responds by calling her Matthew McConaughey. This was McConaughey's big catchphrase as Wooderson in Dazed and Confused, and it's also the name of his charitable foundation. Isn't that nice? This sort of makes up for those Lincoln ads. Almost. The bit where Deadpool tries to woo back Colossus by blasting Peter Gabriel outside the X-Mansion references 80s teen classic Say Anything, and Deadpool urging Colossus to sweep the leg, Johnny, during his fight with the Juggernaut references 80s teen classic Karate Kid. So, at least they're consistent. Oh, also DP calls Negasonic Teenage Warhead 11 in the post-credits scene, riffing on Stranger Things, because he's very current. Also, this franchise is now officially a time-hopping adventure, and I couldn't be more excited. I'll be honest with you, as we're going to press publish on this very video, there are a few things we still just don't know. We tried our best, but no one was talking. For example, you know those two rednecks Cable encounters when he first travels back to our time? He steals their truck, but they get to keep their boots and their clothes. One of them is played by Alan Tudyk of Firefly and Rogue One fame, and the other is credited as Dickie Greenbat, who is not a real person, and which is seemingly a riff on Jude Law's name from The Talented Mr. Ripley, Dickie Greenleaf. So who is that actor? Also, who is the Juggernaut? He's in the credits as playing himself, which means in the Fox X-Men universe, Brad Pitt coexists with the Juggernaut. Reply to this video and let us know what you think. Who was the voice of the Juggernaut, and why do you think it was definitely Brad Pitt?